Afternoon, guys. Hi, hope everyone's keeping well. Rob back for another video. This one's going to be fairly quick. Went to record fair in Leamington Spa earlier today at the Pump Rooms. I have been there before. Went, I think, last year. Picked up a few bits and pieces, a few records. I never get an awful lot from there for some reason, and it didn't help the fact that I turned up at 11 o'clock, or it was later than that. Actually, it was probably about 20 past, 11 by the time I got there. It opened at 10, so probably a lot of the good stuff arguably had been snapped up by then. And you're going in, and I don't know what it is with fairs these days. There just seems to be a propensity just to have more and more sealed new reissues. There was just hundreds and hundreds of them. It's just, what's the point? You may as well just go on Amazon or buy them off a website or something. The vintage, or the decent vintage stuff, seems to be definitely at a premium these days, unless you're very, very lucky. So anyway, so I got there and it was heaving and it was very, very hot. And I'm amazed I managed to last as long as I did in there. I think I was in there for about an hour and a half, because I kind of went round the tables twice, because as is the way, when you go to record fairs, especially when they're very well attended, you can sort of see the vendors, see the bins, and sometimes it's a bit of a jostle for position to get in. So you think, I'm going to leave that, come back round, and I'll visit it on the way back round again, which is what I did. So I actually kind of ended up going round all the tables probably about 3 times, which isn't a bad thing, because sometimes you can, you can go and pick up stuff maybe that you overlooked the first time. So yeah, these are all, none of these were any that I had on a list particularly or whatever. I think one of them was sort of on my want list, but it was not one that I was kind of actively seeking. I actually only picked up 4 records, so and they're all fairly cheap. They're all, I think the 3 of them are under £5 or under, and the last one, which I'll show, was a bit more than that. But pleased with what I got, but would like to have picked up more, but there just wasn't an awful lot there really that took my fancy. So okay, so what did I pick up? This is kind of in the order that I acquired them. So this first one, I've seen this one a few times. Sometimes it hasn't always been in the best of condition or at the right price. I actually picked this up from a vendor that has been at 2 or 3 fairs that I've been to, and his stuff is always really, really cheap, and he normally knocks it even more money off when you pick them up. So so obviously searching through all his stuff, and I came up with this. So this is Portrait by the Walker Brothers. So this is their second studio album from 1966. So I think it's just a couple of Scott Engel original numbers on this. A lot of these are covers, sort of Lieber Stoller numbers and so on, kind of. But yeah, on that lovely original Philips label, and this one's a mono, and it's got a few marks on it, no deep scratches or anything, but could certainly do with a decent clean. I mean, they're pretty bulletproof, a lot of these 60s pressings, so even if they look shredded, you can often clean them up and they sound pretty good. So so that's the first one, that's Portrait by the Walker Brothers. Okay, the next one is one that I was pleased to see. Don't often see his stuff in the wild. I can't remember that I'd seen this and not. Maybe I had and not picked it up, but it was pretty cheap, so I was happy to do so. This is Johnny Dankworth and his orchestra and guests, and it's called What the Dickens. So it's pieces of music written to sort of characters from Dickens novels and so on. As he says on the back of the sleeve, Dickens is the only author I've ever really read. So there you go, that was his inspiration for this one. But he's accompanied by some interesting guests, so some sort of jazz luminaries for the time. We've got Tubby Hayes and Ronnie Scott, no less, so that'd be nice. On Fontana label. And I believe from the notes that I can read, it was recorded over 2 sessions in 1963. So yeah, this one's in really, really immaculate. Looks like it's hardly been played at all. So yeah, looking forward to giving that one a listen. So yeah, obviously Johnny Dankworth, famous band leader, jazz artiste, and yeah, responsible for writing a lot of television, did a lot of work for television, film scores and so on as well. Yeah, really, really pleased to pick that up. Looking forward to giving that one a spin. Okay, the next one I was kind of umming and ahhing about picking up because I don't particularly like this artist, but I love the, or last time I heard it, I really liked the title song. This is Jackson Browne and Late for the Sky. It's not one I always see of his. I think it's Running on Empty, I think, his later 70s ones. This is his third album from 74 on Asylum. And I think the title track, I seem to recall, was in a Scorsese movie. I can't remember which one it was. Anybody who knows that, maybe put it in the comment below. But I can't think which one it was off the top of my head. But I think that was the first time I'd heard it, and yeah, quite enjoyed it. I think the last track, Before the Deluge, is quite revered as well. So yeah, Jackson Browne, singer-songwriter, quite sort of mellow, I don't know, I wouldn't say country feel, quite easy on the ears, very melodic. Was, I believe, in the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, or he had an association with them in terms of songwriting, and obviously he famously wrote Take It Easy for the Eagles, which I think he recorded himself on his first record. But yeah, as I say, I've never been a huge fan of Jackson Browne, and I say there's only a couple of songs off this album that I'm familiar with, so it'd be interesting to give it a spin, see what it was like. It was really cheap anyway, so nothing to lose. Okay, and the last one, I think I've only ever seen this once before. This one doesn't show up very often. Not sure if this is in a different sleeve, but this is Bert Yanch and Santa Barbara Honeymoon. So on the Charisma label from 1975. And it's been a while, I think, since I've heard this. I did spin it because I was interested in obviously listening to it. I've got a lot of Bert Yanch, listened to a lot of his stuff, particularly his 60s output, and Pentangle, his work with Pentangle, of course. But this one, I don't really know very well at all, but I was very glad to get it. It would have been a little bit more than I wanted to pay for it, but I did manage to knock the guy, the vendor, down a little bit. So it was at a more amenable price. So it's in lovely, lovely condition. So really happy to add that to my Bert Yanch collection. Okay, that's it, guys. So it will be a quick one. Yeah, I hope you're all enjoying the sun and not burning. Maybe enjoyed a beer or two out in the garden. That's what I'm going to do later. And yeah, hope you all having whatever you're up to, have a fantastic extended weekend and bank holiday. So yeah, until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. All the best. Bye-bye.